Around 600 years before Jesus was born, 4 teenage boys ran what might be the first documented clinical trial in human history. No lab coats, no funding committee, just a king's food supply, a risky proposal, and exactly 10 days to prove it wouldn't get them killed. That story is sitting in your Bible right now, and it's just one of 5 meals we're breaking down today. Scripture doesn't only record faith, it quietly records food too. Specific ingredients, specific combinations, eaten by real people at the most extreme moments of their lives. And modern researchers, using equipment nobody in the ancient world had access to, keep confirming those meals were doing exactly what the people who wrote them down already seemed to know. No burning bush, no parting sea, just a plate of vegetables that turned out to be more powerful than anyone in that palace expected. 5 stories, 5 stews, real science, real recipes. Let's start with those 4 boys and their 10-day bet. Number 1. Daniel's vegetables and Wate. Daniel chapter 1. Daniel and 3 of his friends have just been taken captive to Babylon and are being groomed for royal service, which comes with a perk: unlimited access to the king's food, rich meat, fine wine, the best the empire has to offer. Sounds like a win, right? Daniel says, no thanks. He asks the official in charge for something bold. Forget the king's food, just give us vegetables and water for 10 days. Then compare us to everyone else and judge for yourself. The official is understandably nervous, because if these guys show up looking pale and scrawny, it's his head on the line, not Daniel's. He agrees anyway. Be honest, have you ever committed to some kind of health challenge, a no-sugar month, a January reset, and quietly hoped it would fail so you could go back to normal? That's more or less what the official overseeing Daniel was hoping too. It didn't work out that way for him. 10 days later, the text just states the result. Flatly, no dramatic music, no commentary. Daniel and his friends looked healthier and better nourished than all the young men who'd been eating the royal food. That's it. That's the entire report. An observed outcome written down exactly as it happened, in what might genuinely be the oldest recorded diet comparison in human history. So what was actually happening inside their bodies during those 10 days? Daniel's diet was an intensely high-diversity plant diet. Lentils, root vegetables, leafy greens, legumes, and water. What he cut out was alcohol, heavy animal fat, and the kind of rich food that puts real strain on your liver and digestive system. What he added instead was a massive range of plant fiber to feed a diverse gut microbiome, plus a wide spread of plant pigments, deep greens, reds, oranges, each carrying its own distinct anti-inflammatory compounds. Modern research on elimination-style diets, cutting out common inflammatory triggers and replacing them with diverse plant foods, has shown measurable drops in inflammatory blood markers within just a few weeks. 10 days lines up almost exactly with what clinical observation shows today about how fast the body responds once you genuinely change what you're feeding it. Here's something that might actually surprise you. This isn't just an old story anymore. It's a living movement. Modern Daniel fast programs, usually a 2-1-day version, have exploded across churches over the last 2 decades. One well-known offshoot connected to Saddleback Church reportedly helped roughly 15,000 people collectively lose about 250,000 pounds in a single year. And it's not only anecdotal. A peer-reviewed study out of the University of Memphis followed adults completing a 2-1-day Daniel fast and measured real improvements: lower blood pressure, reduced cholesterol, better antioxidant capacity, less oxidative stress. A method a captive teenager improvised under pressure in Babylon is now being run through actual clinical measurement, and it's still holding up. Funny enough, This exact experiment basically repeats itself every January in church basements across the country, just with a lot more group texts and Pinterest boards than Babylon ever had. Different century, same basic bet. Simple food, given enough time, quietly outperforms whatever the empire is serving. Let's build Daniel's restoration stew. You'll need 1 cup of red lentils, 2 medium carrots, 1 large parsnip, 1 medium turnip, 2 large handfuls of dark leafy greens, 1 large onion, 4 cloves of garlic, 1 teaspoon of whole coriander seeds, half a teaspoon of turmeric, water or plain vegetable broth, salt, and cold-pressed olive oil. Start by toasting your coriander seeds briefly in a dry pot. Add the onion with a small amount of olive oil and cook until soft and fragrant. You're not looking for golden here, just soft. Add your diced carrot, parsnip, and turnip, and stir them through the onion for a few minutes. Stir in the lentils and turmeric, then add enough water or broth to cover everything generously. Bring it to a low, steady simmer and cook for 25 minutes. In the final 5 minutes, fold in your leafy greens. They need very little heat and should keep their color and a bit of bite. Take the pot off the heat, stir in your rested garlic, cover, and let it rest for 5 minutes. Add a modest amount of salt and finish with a generous pour of cold-pressed olive oil over the top. This stew is deliberately plain. It's not trying to impress anyone. It's trying to do exactly what happened inside Daniel's body over those 10 days. Quiet the inflammation, feed the gut, and clear things out. Make a big batch and eat it for a week straight whenever your system genuinely needs a reset. From a 10-day experiment to a breakfast that happened exactly once, on a beach, after the most unbelievable morning in the entire New Testament. Number 2. Fish and herb broth. John chapter 21. The disciples have been out fishing all night and caught absolutely nothing. And if you've ever tried to accomplish literally anything on 0 sleep and 0 results, you already know exactly how demoralizing that feels. You did everything right and still came back with nothing to show for it. And that particular flavor of tired hits differently. As the sun comes up, a figure on the shore calls out and tells them to cast their net on the right side of the boat instead. They do. The net fills so fast and so full, they can barely haul it back in. When they finally reach the shore, exhausted, soaked, adrenaline still running, they find that Jesus has already got a fire going and fish are already cooking on it. No big speech, no dramatic reveal, just a charcoal fire on a beach and an invitation to sit down and eat together. Isn't it a little wild that out of everything that could have happened in that moment, the story we got is breakfast? No fireworks, no monologue, just making sure exhausted friends got fed first. Say what you want. That's a pretty relatable way to show up for people. Here's what most people miss about this scene. This simple beach breakfast that John chose to record in such specific detail might have been one of the most nutritionally complete meals those disciples could have possibly eaten. The Sea of Galilee in the 1st century was documented as rich with fish, tilapia, and sardines especially, both abundant and easy to catch. Oily fish like these are some of the richest natural sources on the planet of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA. DHA is a literal structural building block of your brain cell membranes. EPA fights inflammation throughout your entire body. And here's the catch. Your body cannot manufacture either of these from scratch. You have to eat them, full stop. Clinical research has repeatedly linked strong omega-3 intake to better heart health, lower inflammation, and sharper cognitive function later in life. The disciples eating fish from the Sea of Galilee multiple times a week weren't thinking about brain chemistry. They were just eating what was cheap and available. but their brains were quietly receiving exactly the structural fat they needed, meal after meal, without anyone ever explaining why. Here's a detail that might genuinely surprise you. You can still order this exact fish today. Tilapia, caught from the Sea of Galilee, is served at lakeside restaurants around the region under one specific name, St. Peter's fish, a direct callback to the story in Matthew, where Jesus tells Peter he'll find a coin in the mouth of the very first fish he catches. Tourists and pilgrims still order it, grilled or fried, at restaurants sitting right on the water 2,000 years later, and the exact meal is still on the menu, unchanged. At the same lake, let's build the Sea of Galilee fish broth. You'll need 600 grams of fresh whole fish, 4 cloves of garlic, a large bundle of fresh coriander, some fresh thyme, the juice of 1 full lemon, 3 tablespoons of cold-pressed olive oil, and sea salt. If you're using a whole fish, score the skin on both sides with a sharp knife. This helps the flavor get in, and the fish cook evenly. Place the fish in a wide pot with your thyme and the coriander stems, saving the leafy tops for later. Cover with cold water and bring it to the gentlest simmer you can manage. Fish turns tough and dry fast if you boil it hard. Poach for 8 to 12 minutes, depending on the size of the fish. Carefully lift the fish out while it's still hot and set it aside. Take the pot completely off the heat, add your rested garlic straight into the hot broth and let it steep for 5 minutes. Stir in your lemon juice, olive oil, and the reserved coriander leaves, and salt generously. Return the fish to the broth and serve it in deep bowls with flatbread on the side. Use the bread to soak up every drop. The fish has released its omega-3 fats directly into that liquid, and you don't want to leave any of it behind. Now let's rewind to a moment where an entire nation cried out in the middle of the desert. And weirdly enough, it wasn't really about the kind of crying you're picturing. Number 3. Allium Broth. Numbers chapter 11. The Israelites are out in the wilderness. Manna is literally falling from the sky every single morning, and somehow they are still complaining. They list off in specific detail exactly what they miss from their old life in Egypt, and sitting right there, back to back, are 3 plants from the exact same family: leeks, onions, and garlic. Sit with that for a second. Out of everything Egypt had, all its abundance, its fish, its melons, the thing this crowd specifically mourned was 3 plants from one single family. When's the last time you were genuinely homesick for a specific food? Not a meal, not a restaurant, just one exact ingredient your body seemed to be missing. That kind of craving is usually your body talking. People don't build entire complaints around cheap vegetables unless something deeper is going on underneath it. Leeks, onions, and garlic all belong to the allium family, and together they form one of the single most powerful natural combinations for human health, sitting in an ordinary kitchen. Here's the science, broken down simply. When you crush garlic, it creates a compound called allicin, and multiple published studies have confirmed allicin is active against a wide range of bacteria, including some strains that have become resistant to modern antibiotics. For people living in the desert with zero access to medical care, eating garlic wasn't a cultural quirk. It was survival equipment. Even now, walk into any pharmacy during flu season, and you'll find garlic extract capsules sitting on the shelf, dressed up in a bottle, quietly doing the same basic job it did out in that wilderness 3,000 years ago. Onions, meanwhile, are one of the richest sources of a flavonoid called quercetin, which clinical research has confirmed reduces inflammation, lowers blood pressure, and even supports brain function by physically blocking the specific molecular signals that keep your body stuck in an inflamed state. And leeks bring prebiotic fiber. Fiber your stomach can't break down, that travels intact all the way to your colon. and feeds the good bacteria living there. Nobody in that desert knew the term gut microbiome. They were feeding theirs perfectly anyway. Now here's the twist I promised you. The Israelites wept, remembering onions, and it turns out onions have been making people cry ever since, just for a completely different, far more chemical reason. When you slice into an onion, you rupture its cells and trigger a rapid chain reaction that produces a gas called syn-propanethyl S-oxide. That gas drifts upward, hits the surface of your eyes, reacts with your tears, and forms a mild acid right there on the spot, which is exactly what makes you cry at the cutting board. It's technically the plant's own defense mechanism, evolved specifically to stop things like you from eating it. So somewhere out in that wilderness, an entire nation cried, remembering onions they didn't have, and every home cook on earth has been crying over onions they do have, ever since. Some things really don't change. Let's build the allium broth. This one's a broth, not a thick stew. Simple and made to be sipped. You'll need 3 large leeks, sliced and washed well, 2 large onions, roughly sliced, 1 full head of garlic, cloves separated and peeled, a generous bundle of fresh thyme, 2 tablespoons of cold-pressed olive oil, and salt. Place your sliced leeks and onions in a heavy pot with a splash of olive oil and cook them slowly over low heat, stirring occasionally until they turn very soft and start going golden. Don't rush this step. Slow cooking pulls out their natural sweetness and breaks down the tough fiber, so the prebiotic compounds actually release into the broth properly. Add the thyme and your water and simmer gently for 30 minutes. Now take the pot completely off the heat. Smash all your garlic cloves flat and let them rest on the cutting board for 10 full minutes. Then add them into the hot broth. Cover the pot and let the garlic steep like tea for 10 minutes. Heat destroys garlic's most active compound, so it always goes in off the flame. Finish with a generous pour of cold-pressed olive oil, salt to taste, and drink it hot. During illness, drink a cup several times a day. As a weekly maintenance broth, drink it as often as you like. No measuring required. Let's go from the vegetable people wept over to the fruit, important enough to get carved into a temple 200 separate times. Number 4. Pomegranate and lamb stew. 1 Kings chapter 7. When Solomon builds the temple in Jerusalem, he doesn't just decorate it with random flourishes. He has 200 pomegranates carved into the massive bronze pillars standing at the entrance. 200. And that's not the only place the fruit shows up either. The robe of the high priest was hemmed with tiny golden bells, alternating with pomegranate shapes, stitched around the entire edge. And the Song of Solomon uses the fruit as a symbol of beauty and abundance. How many foods do you know of that got carved into sacred architecture 200 separate times? You don't put that kind of artistic weight behind a fruit just because it looks nice in a bowl. You do it because your entire culture cannot stop associating it with something important. Modern nutritional science has taken a serious, sustained interest in pomegranate, and it turns out the ancient reverence wasn't just symbolism. Pomegranates contain a class of compounds called L-gitannins, found at meaningfully high concentrations in very few other plants, which your gut bacteria break down into a group of bioactive molecules with real, measurable effects. Clinical trials have linked regular pomegranate consumption to measurable drops in blood pressure, and the antioxidant activity in pomegranate juice has been measured in standardized lab tests at roughly 3 times higher than green tea or red wine. 3 times. That's not a rounding error. That's an entirely different category of fruit. Here's the part that might genuinely surprise you. This isn't just ancient trivia anymore. It's showing up in modern sports science. A study on elite Olympic weightlifters found that pomegranate juice supplementation improved their performance by over 8% and noticeably lowered their perceived exertion alongside measurable drops in muscle soreness and damage markers after training. Athletes today are essentially rediscovering, under a microscope, exactly why ancient cultures carved this fruit into their most sacred spaces. Somewhere right now, a sports supplement brand is charging a premium for concentrated pomegranate extract in a little brown bottle, essentially reselling the exact fruit Solomon's builders carved into a temple pillar for free. There's genuine cooking genius hiding in this recipe too. When you braise a tough cut of lamb low and slow in pomegranate juice, the connective tissue in the meat slowly breaks down into gelatin, a protein form with real documented benefits for gut lining health. Meanwhile, the pomegranate juice reduces over hours, concentrating its active compounds directly into the sauce. Every spoonful carries both the gelatin from the meat and the antioxidant punch of the fruit. Together, in one bite, the lamb itself adds heme iron, the most efficiently absorbed form of iron that exists, plus complete protein, zinc, and B12. This isn't a celebration meal. This is a restoration meal, built for a body that's been through something. Let's cook the pomegranate and lamb stew. You'll need 700 grams of lamb, 1.5 cups of pure pomegranate juice, 1 cup of water, 1 large onion, 6 cloves of garlic, 1 cinnamon stick, 1 teaspoon of whole coriander seeds, half a teaspoon of black pepper, salt, and fresh pomegranate seeds for topping. Place your lamb in a heavy pot, bone in if you have it. Arrange the onion, garlic, cinnamon stick, coriander seeds, and black pepper around the meat. Pour the pomegranate juice and water over everything. The meat should be mostly submerged. Bring it to the quietest possible simmer, barely even a bubble. Put the lid on and let it cook for 3 to 4 hours, turning the meat once or twice along the way. The connective tissue will slowly surrender to the heat, and the pomegranate juice will reduce and concentrate as it goes. After 3 to 4 hours, the meat should fall apart. The second a spoon touches it, lift the meat out onto a plate. If you want a thicker sauce, take the lid off and let the braising liquid reduce for another 10 minutes over low heat. Pour the sauce back over the meat, scatter fresh pomegranate seeds across the top, and serve with flatbread or barley. Drink whatever braising liquid is left in the pot. There's more real nourishment in that reduced liquid than in almost any sauce you've ever tasted. Last one for today, and it's the meal that was specifically packed for a man running for his life, which, if you think about it, is really just the original meal prep. Number 5. Lentil and barley road stew. 2 Samuel, chapter 17. David is fleeing. His own son Absalom has turned the kingdom against him, and he arrives at a place called Mahanaim, completely spent. People come out to meet him with supplies, and scripture actually lists what they brought. Parched grain, beans, lentils. No wine, no meat, no comfort food, just grain and legumes, chosen deliberately for a man who needed to keep moving, keep thinking clearly, and keep leading, all under extreme pressure. If you had to pack an emergency bag for someone running for their life, what would actually go in it? Something delicious, or something that works? The people helping David clearly already knew the answer. This exact grain and legume combination shows up again in Ezekiel chapter 4 verse 9, where God instructs the prophet to make bread from a very specific, deliberate mixture: wheat, barley, beans, lentils, millet, and spelt, all combined in one vessel, not one grain, 6 different plants layered together on purpose. Here's why that combination works so well. Barley brings fiber that stabilizes blood sugar and lowers cholesterol. Lentils bring around 18 grams of protein per cup, plus iron, folate, and zinc. Put together, they create a slow-burning, deeply nourishing meal that keeps your mind sharp and your body running for hours instead of crashing after 20 minutes. There's real global research behind this exact pattern too. Studies on blue zones, the handful of regions on Earth with the highest concentration of people living past 90 and even 100, found one dietary habit every single one of those populations shares, regardless of culture, climate, or genetics. They eat legumes every single day, without fail. Sardinia, Okinawa, Ikaria, Nicoya, Loma Linda, 5 places on opposite sides of the planet, sharing almost nothing else in common, and every single one of them quietly built around a pot of beans. This road stew is essentially that exact habit, just a few thousand years earlier. Here's a fact that might genuinely catch you off guard. That exact Ezekiel 4:9 combination didn't stay locked in ancient history. Walk into pretty much any health food store today, and you can buy a real, actual product called Ezekiel 4:9 bread, made from sprouted wheat, barley, millet, lentils, and spelt, modeled directly and deliberately on that one Bible verse. It's sold in mainstream grocery chains, recommended by dietitians, and it exists because, several thousand years later, that exact grain and legume formula still checks out nutritionally. David's emergency road rations are, quite literally, still sitting on grocery store shelves today. Let's build the road stew. You'll need 1 cup of whole-hulled barley, 1 cup of green or brown lentils, 1 large onion, 6 cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons of whole cumin seeds, 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 4 cups of water, the juice of 1 lemon, 4 tablespoons of cold-pressed olive oil, and salt. Start by toasting your dry cumin seeds alone in a heavy pot for about a minute, until they smell warm and nutty. Add a tablespoon of olive oil and your diced onion, and cook it low and slow until deeply golden. This takes 15 to 20 minutes, but it builds the entire base of the stew. Don't rush it. Stir in the coriander and turmeric for a minute. Add your soaked, drained barley first, since it takes noticeably longer to cook than lentils. Cover with 4 cups of water and simmer for 30 minutes. Then add your soaked, drained lentils along with the remaining water, and keep cooking for another 30 to 40 minutes, stirring occasionally until both the barley and lentils are completely tender and have merged into one thick, cohesive stew. Take it off the heat, stir in your rested garlic, cover, and let it sit for 5 minutes. Finish with lemon juice, the remaining olive oil poured on cold, and salt generously. This stew actually gets better after a day or 2 in the fridge, so make a big pot at the start of the week and eat off it for days. It was built to travel and to last, and honestly, most weeks, that's exactly what we need our food to do for us too. So that's 5 meals, 5 moments of crisis or celebration, and one very consistent pattern underneath all of them. The people writing these stories down weren't separating what they believed from what they ate. To them, it was the same wisdom, just showing up in 2 different places. And every time modern researchers go looking, with equipment and clinical trials nobody in Babylon or Jerusalem ever had access to, they keep landing right back on the same conclusions those ancient observers already reached with nothing but attention and time. So here's what I actually want to know. Out of these 5, which pot are you putting on the stove this week? The 10-day reset, or the road stew built to last you all week? Tell me in the comments. I genuinely read all of them. If any part of this made you look at a story you thought you already knew a little differently, send it to someone who could use it, maybe someone on a hard road right now who needs the reminder that this kind of endurance has a very long history. And if you want more of these deep dives, hit subscribe and turn on that bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for walking through this with me today. Seriously, it means a lot that you're still here at the end. I'll catch you in the next video.